William Hartley was an imposing man, with his well-lived 55 years and a presence that exuded confidence and determination. His greying hair and piercing blue eyes reflected years of experience in the business world. As the CEO of a rapidly expanding technology company, he had built a reputation as a pragmatic and visionary leader. His office on the top floor of a mirrored skyscraper in the city centre was a testament to his success. The walls displayed diplomas from prestigious universities and photos of handshakes with prominent figures in the corporate world. The panoramic view of the bustling city below served as a constant reminder of the empire he had built. Elizabeth Hartley, on the other hand, was a 53-year-old woman with an aura of calm and understanding that emanated from her warm brown eyes. The couple lived in an elegant mansion in the suburbs, a home that, although luxurious, rarely echoed with the laughter and conversations that Elizabeth so longed for. The white walls and modern furniture seemed cold and impersonal, reflecting the emotional distance that had settled between them over the years. Married for 3 decades, William and Elizabeth had 2 grown-up children, Michael, a 28-year-old lawyer, and Sarah, a 25-year-old artist. Although the Hartley family looked perfect from the outside, there was a growing sense of disconnection that Elizabeth couldn't ignore. One autumn night, William returned home later than usual. Elizabeth was in the kitchen making chamomile tea when she heard the front door open. She felt a pang of disappointment, but not surprise, realizing she had missed another dinner with her husband. "Good evening, dear," William said, entering the kitchen and giving Elizabeth a quick kiss on the cheek. "Sorry for being late. We had a last-minute meeting with international investors." Elizabeth nodded, a polite smile on her lips. "It's okay, I understand. Do you want me to heat something up for you to eat?" "No, thank you. I ate something at the office," William replied, loosening his tie. "I need to review some important documents before bed. I'll be in the study if you need me." Elizabeth watched as he climbed the stairs, feeling a familiar lump form in her throat. She wondered when exactly her marriage had turned into this routine of brief encounters and superficial conversations. Upstairs, William entered his office, a spacious room with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves and a solid mahogany desk. He sat in his leather chair, turned on the lamp, and began to search for a specific folder in his drawer. As he rummaged through the papers, his fingers touched something unexpected, a yellowed envelope worn by time. Intrigued, William pulled out the envelope and examined it. There was no address, just his name written in Elizabeth's elegant handwriting. Carefully, he opened the envelope and unfolded the letter inside. As his eyes scanned the lines, he felt his heart race. "My dear William," the letter began, "as I write this letter, I'm sitting on our porch, watching the sunset and thinking about our future together. I can hardly believe that soon we will be husband and wife. There is so much I want to share with you, so many dreams I want to realize by your side." Elizabeth's words, written decades ago, were full of love, hope, and expectations for a shared life. She spoke about traveling the world, creating a loving family, and making a difference in people's lives. William felt a lump form in his throat as he read about the plans Elizabeth had, but also about how she hoped they would never lose sight of what truly mattered, their love for each other and the precious time they could share. As William continued reading, a wave of emotions flooded over him. Shame, regret, and profound sadness mingled in his chest. He realized how much he had strayed from the young man full of dreams that Elizabeth loved. In his relentless pursuit of success, he had neglected the most important aspects of life: his wife, his children, the precious moments that would never return. William sat for hours, rereading the letter several times, each word acting as a painful reminder of what he had lost sight of. When he finally went to bed, he found Elizabeth already asleep. He watched her for a moment, noticing the soft lines on her face, silent witnesses to the years that had passed. At that moment, William made a silent promise to himself and his sleeping wife. He would change, do things differently. In the days that followed, Elizabeth noticed a subtle change in William's behavior. He started coming home earlier, bringing small gifts, a bouquet of wildflowers reminiscent of what she carried on their wedding day, a book of poetry they used to read together in college. During dinner, he asked questions about her day, truly listening to her answers. One evening, William surprised Elizabeth with an invitation for a picnic at the local park. As they sat on a blanket under a large oak tree, savouring strawberries and champagne, Elizabeth couldn't contain her curiosity. "William," she began hesitantly, "don't get me wrong, I'm loving all of this, but what's going on? You've been acting so differently lately." William set his glass aside and took Elizabeth's hands in his. His eyes, usually so confident and determined, were now filled with an emotion Elizabeth hadn't seen in years. "Elizabeth," he said, his voice trembling slightly, "I found something a few days ago that made me realise how much I've lost myself over the years. I found a letter, one you wrote to me before we got married." Elizabeth's eyes widened in recognition. "Oh, William. That letter." "Yes," he continued. "That letter reminded me of the man I used to be, of the dreams we shared. It made me realise how far I've strayed from all that, from you. Elizabeth, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for putting my work above everything else, for missing so many precious moments." Tears began to form in Elizabeth's eyes as William spoke. She squeezed his hands, encouraging him to continue. "I want to change that," William said with determination. "I want to reconnect with you, with our family. I want to live the dreams we shared so long ago. Would you still be willing to embark on this journey with me?" Elizabeth felt her heart fill with renewed hope and love. "Oh, William," she whispered, "of course I would. It's all I've ever wanted." That night, under the stars, William and Elizabeth rekindled the flame of their love. They talked for hours, sharing their fears, hopes and dreams as they hadn't done in years. It was a new beginning, a chance to rewrite their story. William began to make significant changes in his life. He delegated more responsibilities at work, declined invitations to business dinners on weekends, and started planning the trips Elizabeth had always wanted to take. They visited museums, took cooking classes together, and spent entire afternoons just talking and reminiscing about the good times of the past. Elizabeth, in turn, thrived with the renewed attention from William. She shared more about her work as a therapist, inviting William to better understand the world she inhabited daily. Together, they began volunteering at a local shelter, something Elizabeth had always wanted to do but never found the time for. Their children, Michael and Sarah, noticed the change in their parents. During a family dinner, Sarah couldn't help but comment, "You two seem so different, happier." William smiled, taking Elizabeth's hand. "We're rediscovering what really matters in life," he said. However, fate had other plans to test the newly rediscovered strength of the Hartley couple. About 3 months after the discovery of the letter, William began to feel constantly tired and suffering from inexplicable pains. Worried, Elizabeth insisted that he see a doctor. The diagnosis came as a devastating shock: advanced stage pancreatic cancer. The prognosis was grim, with doctors giving William only a few months to live. When the doctor left the room, leaving William and Elizabeth alone to process the news, a heavy silence fell over them. Elizabeth held William's hand, silent tears streaming down her face. To her surprise, when she looked at her husband, she saw not despair, but a calm determination in his eyes. "Elizabeth," William said softly, "I won't lie and say I'm not scared. I am. But you know what? I'm grateful." Elizabeth looked at him, confused. "Grateful." William nodded. "Grateful for having had these last few months. Grateful for finding that letter and having the chance to truly live with you, with our family. If this had happened a few months ago, I would have died as a stranger to the people I love most." William's words touched Elizabeth deeply. She leaned in and hugged him tightly, feeling the warmth of his body, the beating of his heart. "We'll face this together," she whispered. "Every moment, every day." In the months that followed, William and Elizabeth lived with an intensity they had never experienced before. Each day was precious, each moment an opportunity to create memories. They travelled when William had the strength, visiting places they had always dreamed of seeing. When he was too weak to travel, they spent whole days at home, talking, laughing, crying, and simply being together. William used his remaining time to strengthen the bonds with his children. He had long conversations about life, love, and the true meaning of success. On a particularly significant afternoon, William gathered the entire family in the living room. He looked tired, but his eyes shone with an inner light. "I want to share something with you," he began. "Throughout my life, I pursued what I thought was success. I built a company, accumulated wealth, gained recognition. But only now, facing the end, have I realized the truth of an old saying: what good is it for someone to gain the whole world and lose their soul?" He paused, looking at each of them. "My soul was getting lost in the pursuit of things that, in the end, don't really matter. But thanks to you, thanks to the love of this family, I found my soul again. And this, more than any professional achievement, is my greatest success." William's words touched each family member deeply. Elizabeth, Michael, and Sarah moved closer, enveloping William in a collective embrace. At that moment, they were more than a family. They were a unit, connected by a love that transcended circumstances. As the days passed, William's health continued to decline. He was admitted to the hospital, but even there, surrounded by machines and medications, his spirit remained strong. Elizabeth rarely left his side, reading to him, sharing memories, and simply holding his hand. One night, while Elizabeth dozed in a chair next to William's bed, she was awakened by a gentle squeeze of her hand. Opening her eyes, she saw William looking at her with a serene smile. "Elizabeth," he whispered, "thank you for everything, for loving me, for forgiving me, for showing me what truly matters in life." Elizabeth kissed his hand softly. "I love you, William. Always have, always will." William smiled, his eyes closing slowly. "I love you too, more than words can express." That night, William Hartley passed away peacefully in his sleep, with Elizabeth by his side. Although the pain of loss was deep, there was also a sense of peace and fulfillment. William had departed not as a successful businessman, but as a man who had rediscovered the true meaning of love and family. In the months and years that followed, Elizabeth, Michael, and Sarah kept William's legacy alive. Elizabeth often found herself rereading the old love letter, now not with sadness, but with a feeling of gratitude. Those words, written so many years ago, had not only rewritten their past, but also shaped their future in a way she could never have imagined. The story of William and Elizabeth Hartley shows that true success is not measured by professional achievements or material wealth, but by the love we share, the lives we touch, and the precious moments we create with those we love. In the end, that's what really matters. That's what lasts beyond ourselves. If you enjoyed the story, please leave a comment with a rating from 1 to 5 to show how much you liked it. Also, watch the video that is now appearing on your screen. See you soon.